Pete and Emily, I'm going to turn it over to you. Hit it.
Awesome. Good stuff. Well, thanks for having us in, Gary. Best show ever. I think it's got to be 20 years plus that we've been doing this, but
We've been
it's
songing and
definitely
dancing a
been
long
a
time.
while.
Absolutely. But look at out of that,
Definitely.
all those years, it's culminated into this, and this is exciting. Eero 6.
No, it's a really it's a solid partnership. So I appreciate being on, and so I'm joined by Emily Zahala, and she's going to drive. We're going to go to the next this slide, and this is where I get to go my Don Draper my Don Draper moment. Look, I if you're on the West Coast joining us at 6 a.m. in the morning, it's really early. It's a perfect time to grab that cup of coffee, put the dog outside, grab your pen. But we really have two basic things on this slide to go through. And as we talk about the journey that Eero has been on over the last 6 years, it just makes sense to talk about what our mission is and what our vision is. The world has changed over the last 5 years. As I was coming in initially and talking to you about Eero within Volutone or within the Snap family of locals that was out there, we were just talking about basic home networking. This was for entertainment, or this was for some light work from home. And 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago now, networking changed dramatically and probably forever. Networking literally became the way that we earned a living. Our lives were no longer entertained in download, but our livelihood was made in an upload capacity. Um, Work, education, entertainment, everything just came from the home, and it came from home networking. And a lot of people thought that they had decent networks, and they found out woefully that they didn't have enough. And because of the hard work that you all have done, if you're on this call, we appreciate it. That's out there, but you brought in Eero as a quick, easy solution, something that was simple, reliable, and repeatable that was out there. Today, networking means a lot more, and home really means a lot more. I don't know how much you guys have been out over the last 6 months. I've seen a good portion of this country going through. Today, I'm in Tampa. Tonight, I'll be in LA. But at the end of the day, home now is where people are going to heal. Home literally has become home base. It's not just a place that we earn. It's not just a place that we relax. It's a place that we go to heal. And when we talk about the mission that Eero is after, our goal is the same as yours. We have a unique privilege of being introduced and invited, welcomed into a customer's home to really, at the end of the day, just a very simple proposition. Our customers, our end customers, are asking us to come into the home just to be able to make technology work. I take that really seriously. Emily takes that really seriously. We're up every day, early hours, putting in longer hours because that's really our job. So our vision, when we talk about where it is that Eero is trying to go and what we're doing for the pro install, pro integrator, SMB, Resi commercial community, our overall goal here is to help you do a better job installing. We're both trying to make technology work for the customer so that they have the ability to relax, to repair, and to rejuvenate. But at the end of the day, my single biggest goal, Emily's single biggest goal, is to deliver the perfect internet experience, not just for my product, but for all the products that you're installing. Everything, for the most part, these days is network enabled, and our job is to make sure that every home, every device, every heart gets the ability to interact with the internet and unwind, upload, and make a difference. So, with that, why don't we take a look at the next slide and talk a little bit about what Eero has done since 2016. Lots of manufacturers in these calls talk about their history and talk about what it is that they've done. I just, in a single slide, wanted to capture, though, kind of the unique value proposition. Eero continually, since 2016, has done the one thing that other networking companies really didn't think about and continue to not think about. We made it simple. We were extremely disruptive because via an app, you could take somebody that was brand new to your crew and have him participate and generate income. You could take somebody also at the other end of this, your CTO, your IT guy, and if they'll follow the instructions, and register at pro.eero and transfer, we can still give all those basic IT backgrounds. Calling our customer support, we can get you in and have you do your own IP schema that's out there. We can have you do port forwarding. We can have you do IP reservations. But at the end of the day, we wanted to make Wi-Fi easy, simple. And that's why we did this via an app that, a setup for a 3,500 square foot home should be less than, 20 minutes, actually less than 10 minutes. And we did the one thing in 2016 that really helped launch the brand during COVID. And coming out of COVID, our goal is still the same. We want to provide whole home Wi-Fi coverage, literally window to wall from the front door to the back door and every space in between. At the end of the day, though, our customers are asking for simple things: fast, reliable Wi-Fi, something that's so easy they don't have to think about it, really to treat it as the fifth utility. And you, the installers, the integrators that are out there, you want something that's easy to maintain and something that you don't have to go back. And as you're here looking at some of the things that eero is offering today, I really would ask you, the other networking brands, how often have you had to go back? How often have you had to troubleshoot? How easy is it to get a hold of their customer service that's out there? And that's what's led us into the next slide with a ton of different options. We continue to innovate. Our Gen 2 product is still out just for a little bit longer that's there, but where I really want you to focus is in 2020. As the pandemic was starting to emerge, we came out with Wi-Fi 6, and we've continued with Wi-Fi 6 products to the point that we offer more Wi-Fi 6 than any other manufacturer in a variety of different flavors, price points, and something that's easy for you to be able to place at any price point or any budget. Literally a dual band or a tri-band option, a 6E option, so you're taking advantage of the 120 megahertz range. And we're taking that same technology and we're expanding it with our partner companies. Ring Alarm last year was able to do the one thing that everybody had asked: can you provide a Wi-Fi option that's there? The answer is always yes. So what that leads to is great partnership and an expanding role. As we take a look at the next slide, 19 different countries right now, 19 different countries that we're involved in. And as you're sitting here watching this call, waiting for me to stop waxing poetic 10 minutes in, it's not just the reputation, it's the sales and the success that we've had that allows for us to come in and do products like we're going to talk about today. So as we go to the next slide, the single biggest thing that I'm here to tell you about and why our booth was as strong, probably why you're here, is today we're going to talk about two great pieces of hardware and some software that I'm telling you right now, if you don't find a way to monetize it, if you don't find a way to engage with it, we're doing a huge disservice, not only to your bottom line, but to our customers that are out there. We're really excited today to talk about a new PoE line of products and management services designed intentionally for the pro channel. Over the last 4 years, we've acquired and worked with some key partners. Eric Johnson, Peter Lane came to us from Cisco, and these are some of the brightest people. Eric literally is a Canadian rocket scientist and has done an amazing job. He's got a lineup of products right behind this, but the first one out of the gate is going to be our eero PoE 6 product. This is an on-ceiling Wi-Fi product, and we thought enough of this product that we launched with Snap hand in hand. The first day that it was available, Snap was able to have it. So nationally and online, there was that coverage. We're going to talk about a unique device with the eero PoE gateway, and then we're going to spend a lot of time talking about great software. So let's take a look at the eero PoE 6. Got to tell you, folks, this is the product of the season. Single biggest product that I've had requested over the last 2 years. Phone calls, emails. Hey, what about this? So let me just get to the get. And when we talk about this hardware, this is a fully unified solution. One of the few times that I'll talk about unify or ubiquity or ubiquitous that's out there, but this is a fully unified solution. This is not a 2 SKU solution. There's no adapter at all. This is a one part SKU on ceiling. And I'm really, really excited to talk about the capabilities. This is a dual band. And one of the things that we found with Wi-Fi 6, and specifically Wi-Fi 6 and a wired backhaul, that at a 2.4 and a 5, we didn't need the third band for communication. It didn't make it any more stable. And with the propagation of Wi-Fi 6 and a wired backhaul, a dual band actually became much more stable and just an overall better value partner that was out there. we're able to do the things that other manufacturers are trying to get up and into. This is a Wi-Fi 6 product that if you've got 2.5 gigabit feeds coming into your home, I literally can do wireless speeds at 1.5 gigs. You've heard me train with y'all for the last 4 years. This is a big, big deal. I pulled wire. We pulled 4 runs to every room inside the house so that I could get higher speeds coming through. 4 years ago, the thought of getting up into 1.5 gigs to 2.5 gig to 5 gig just wasn't a reality. The federal government's invested over $56 billion in the last 2 years in network infrastructure and has plans to double that over the next 2 years. Speeds are increasing in your market. You want to be thinking about, and it'll be more clear as we get into the software, you want to be thinking about speeds. What is it that's going on inside the house? What is it today, that the customer's using, and where do they probably end up? Challenge your customers. Become the CTO of their home. All right, so for deployment on the box, there's going to be a claim of 2,000 square feet of coverage. I just would remind you that, last week I was in Texas, this week I'm in Tampa, next week I'm going to be in San Francisco. And what's consistent about all of these markets, and probably wherever you're at, there's going to be a pocket of older homes. When we talk about older homes, we're talking about lath and plaster. We're talking about really nasty stuff on the inside of the wall with chicken wire mesh holding everything together. We're talking about horsehair insulation, or we're talking about galvanized pipes, or we're talking about configurations that I can't even think of that's there. That 2,000 square feet of coverage literally is on the dark side of the moon and the best possible option that's out there. I'm much more comfortable these days talking about walking a house and looking at 1,000 square feet of coverage with a radius of 35 to 40 feet, every 35 to 40 feet, which brings up some other things when we talk in this training. One of the things that I would love for you to start doing when you do walk into a job site that's there, let's come prepared. Let's come prepared for every opportunity that's out there. If I'm out for a doorbell install, or if I'm out to do an outdoor patio setup for somebody, I'm still asking the question, how's your Wi-Fi? And Wi-Fi is like tap water. Nobody's really that impressed with it. Nobody's really that totally happy with everything that comes up. So one of the first things that I do, regardless if I'm there to do internet or not, is I'll use Wi-Fi Analyzer. And I mention that name because it's available both on iOS and Android. I don't know if Oz is with us, but no, I don't know if it's available in the BlackBerry store. I don't know anybody still using BlackBerry, but I use Wi-Fi Analyzer and I walk the home. And I use the paid version, and I provide a heat map at the end of the day. When I'm doing that kitchen counter close, I'm showing customers exactly what the Wi-Fi coverage looks like inside their home. And then at the end of the install, if they paid for a network install, I'm providing a copy of what this looks like afterwards. So I've got a good pre and post. And then the other pro tip of why I'm mentioning this and how it relates to 2,000 square feet of coverage, I now have a file started for that customer, and I know exactly where the access points are inside the house that's there. So just the quick pro tip, we walk every house. We do a heat map for every single house, whether or not they need networking that's there. We have a copy on record for the customer, and more importantly for our crew. All right, so when we talk about device connections with this, as we get into Wi-Fi 6, as we get into multi-gig, naturally the question comes up about how many different devices are inside the home. And one of the things that is standing out these days is that we're just inundated. Emily shared a little bit with her home over CD, and I was amazed at how many different light bulbs we can connect, and how many echoes and dots and all kinds of different things. At the end of the day, I talk about supporting up to 100 devices. I just like square footage of coverage. This is highly dependent on the density of the network. It's highly dependent on how much is being used all at the same time that's out there. And so we put 100 plus up. I won't be surprised when a competitor or a partner comes out and says we can do 125, 150. It's a number. What I can tell you is that on an average day, I've got 71 different devices that are online, probably not being used, but 71 different devices that are online in a 3,000 square foot house. We've got kids, we've got dogs, we've got cameras, the whole deal. And for 4 years, it's been one of the most stable networks that's out there. just so that I can pause for a quick second. I am on hotel Wi-Fi. I'm not at home. I'm not on an eero network. So if it does go down, I just please don't give me that much of a hard time, and we'll scramble to get up and get going. All right. So integrated smart home hub. Lots of different connections. Zigbee. We're working on understanding more about what Zigbee is doing. Typically, though, when we talk about an Amazon device, Zigbee is the cross communication between eero and an Echo device or a show device. When we talk about Thread, got to tell you, this is one of my favorite technologies that's out there in terms of just integration. And Thread is continuing to develop. We've got Bluetooth capability. That's where, when we're setting the device up at the gateway, this is communicating, and that's overall. I want to talk about two very specific things though. When we talk about integrated smart home hub, when we talk about Alexa, that literally just means that because we're a part of the Amazon family, we can get into that frustration-free setup. We can use Alexa to be able to control the internet for that. So be careful when I say you can use Alexa. I literally was in an argument with my son and became, something right out of the little guy Master Blaster in Mad Max at Thunderdome. I just said to Alexa, Alexa, turn the internet off upstairs. And so the access points upstairs completely turned off. Nobody had any access. Later in that fight, I yelled at Alexa. I didn't make a request. I yelled at Alexa, Alexa, turn the internet off. And that turned out to not be a really good idea because once the internet is turned off, Alexa stopped working. And there was a quick panic as everybody looked around and things started to go dark and the network is off. Now I was able to come back in via the app, but be careful with Alexa. There is no microphone built into any eero products at all. When we talk about the Pro 5 all the way up to the PoE 6. So if you see the word Alexa, it just means it's a skill enablement that's there, but there is no microphone and no plans to have a microphone in our product. When we do talk about integrated smart home hub, though, I want to give you just the quick encouragement about your wintertime reading assignment. So, Gary, one of the things that we do here is we assign homework when we're all done for the season, and all done and being relative. That's there. I think we're always working or always tinkering. That's out there. But I really would love everybody to grab a pencil, a pen, or just make a mental note that we want to start researching matter. Matter. Matter literally matters. When we talk about matter, we're talking about the heaviest of hitters. Now, look, I know that in this call we've got heavy hitters with Control 4. We've got heavy hitters. You probably have somebody on this call that's doing a LAN or Savant that's out there, and the great partners at Access Networks definitely have some of their capabilities as well. But when we talk about matter, we're talking about Amazon. We're talking about Apple, and we're talking about Google, and a unified standard that really is going to be the talk of the show at CES. And we're going to see a prevalence of new devices coming out this year with Matter. So when we talk about integrated smart home hub, I really would like you guys to become subject matter experts on Matter, to read as much as you can and understand what's going on. All right, so let me get up off of the soapbox and talk to you about the hardware that's out there. We're literally talking about one 2.5 gigabit Ethernet port on the backside that's going to power the unit, and then a 1 gigabit Ethernet port to be able to daisy chain out or to be able to support. Em's going to take us to the next slide right now, and that's going to show us the backside of this unit. There's some really unique things that are going on here. We really paid a lot of attention to what this design was about. This is a one-piece design on ceiling. So on the lower right-hand side, you've got that mounting collar that's going to come up. That integrates then to about the 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock position. That lower left-hand side, you can see the back side of the unit. Right there, that big old belly button right in the middle, that's not a power cord at all. That's a Kensington lock. So if you're looking at a resi-mercial application, if you're looking at a light commercial application, this is huge. This gives you the ability to take a steel tether and make sure in a laundromat solution that it's not stolen. Cable routing is pretty easy. You come in, just take your thumb, trace that up, get up into that 2.5 gigabit Ethernet port, and you're good to go. Daisy chain right back out and lock that through. No more gang boxes. I'm still a big proponent, in pre-wire. Drop a single gang box in, run your wiring through, screw in the mating collar, tighten that up, do a dry fit, do a quick pre-test on that, and then lock it up, and you're good to go. This product is available now. It's an extremely, extremely limited supply just because of some of the supply chain issues that are going on. You can find this on Snap AV. You can find this at any Snap One local location as long as they're in stock. And I just would encourage you to take a look. The margin on this product was thought of. The dollars that you see from installing this product were thought of. And the biggest thing that I can say to you is get exactly what this product is worth on an install. This is not an easy install for a customer to do. An average customer is not going to understand how to pull cable through a ceiling. An average customer is not going to have access to the premium cable that you do. So when we talk about a $300 price point, when we talk about a $300 price point, if you're not getting at least $150 per unit for an access point, again, market depending, but here in the Tampa market, down where Gary and I love to watch planes, down in the San Diego market or up in the Simi Valley area, if you're in Chicago or down in Texas listening to these calls, I'm telling you right now, $150 to install an access point is not out of line. When you use premium cable, when you've got a solution architect that's helping create a really, really strong screen, this is huge. So before we go to the next screen, let's take a quick look. Let's take a quick look at some of these areas. Wayne, I hear you on the dynamic DNS that's there. This is going to be more of a topic as we talk about EPI. Craig, I hear you on the SSID. We've got two right now. I'm aware of a third. I am aware of a third option that is being talked about right now. One of the big things that's there is exactly like you're talking about, IoT devices that's out there. Why not make PoE unit with 6E? This is a 6E with 160 gigahertz. I'm sorry, 100. Yeah, it is a 6E unit. All right, so let's go through, talk about a few things. Which Wi-Fi analyzer app, bunch of different ones. Nick, this is the one question that I always struggle with iOS. I'm just not sure. I use the one that I'm using on the Android side is a white background with, it literally looks like a jar. Wow, lots of questions coming in.
A lot of questions, Pete, also just with that Wi-Fi analyzer app in terms of where you can print and which one specifically you're talking about.
Yeah, I will get that answer and provide it. It was Wi-Fi analyzer and it was a white background. I'll pull it up on my phone and we'll add that link in an appendix slide on this training that's out there. Solid questions that are coming through. Thank you for answering all of this. Chris, I appreciate it. Yeah. Now I apologize. I'm talking about the Pro 6E when we're talking about the PoE 6. All right, so it's just the same access point. All right, so no, it should not be. Angie, if you could take, I'm sorry, if you could take a look at Angie's question. That's a little bit concerning. Should be a $299 price point. We'll get deeper in. All right, so Craig, Jerome, specific analyzer, we'll get you those answers. We're working on outdoor access points. Lots of questions coming in now because I'm answering specific analyzers suggested for iOS. Lots of questions about that. All right, so we'll get that answer that's there. Be able to separate the 2.4. So this is not the eero Pro 6E. This is not the eero Pro 6E. This is the eero PoE switch. Great question. Well, that'll be the last question that we take there from Malcolm. And then we'll come back in. Awesome. So let's go with PoE switches that are supported. Basically, we're drawing 14.5 watts per unit. It is PoE certified. Arachnus has got some solid PoE switches that are out there. There's also some additional third-party ones that you're able to use. But at the end of the day, this is just a PoE switch. Or just a basic PoE requirement. So any injector, it's not PoE plus, it doesn't need to be certified. The one thing that I would ask is that we're not using managed switches that are there. If you have need for management on any of this, there's lots of great access points that are out. It's because we're cloud-based and cloud communicative, this is not something that we're going to be able to do today. That's out there. All right, so let's take a look at a unique device. You're going to be tempted to call this a router and a switch. we're going to remind you that it is a PoE gateway that's out there. So this is a product that is not out in the market right now. We're hoping to have this at the end of Q1 that's out there. And this literally was the big game changer for eero during CEDIA. Wired speeds up to 9.4 gigabits per second in both upload and download. We're using two 10 gigabit Ethernet ports. You're reading that correctly. This will be one of the first devices that is available in the prosumer, custom integrator, custom install market with two 10 gigabit Ethernet ports in. Really becomes a game changer at that point. We do see a path by literally, we see a path over the next 5 years where you see rationally getting into 10 gigabit speeds coming into the house. So that's the front side of the unit. Coming out of the unit, we're going to provide 8 PoE capable 2.5 gigabit Ethernet ports. What that means is, from a port perspective, is we can support wired speeds throughout the house, throughout the job site, across the board, and do an amazing job. Now, all 8 of those at any time can be PoE capable. That's there. You do have a budget of 100 watts of pooled power for PoE devices. Using just some simple math, that means that I can do 7 eero access points. And if I don't have 7 eero access points, but I'm working within a budget of 14.5 or less, that means that I could do 3 eero access points, and I could do 4 ring PoE cameras, or I could do 4 PoE cameras of any choosing, or any PoE device that's out there. Total budget for power is at 100 watts. This is a huge departure in the fact that it is our first wired infrastructure. It's the first wired product that we've done. We've done this so that it sets up inside a network closet or racks, which will start to cue the questions of, what are the dimensions, things like that. So this is just slightly smaller than 1U, so that there's room inside a 1U rack to be able to go through. In terms of depth and width, this is a little bit more than half of it that's out there. There will be some adapter plates that I know Mid-Atlantic was already looking at this and measuring. We've already had some additional offers that are there, but this literally can sit right on a rack shelf that's out, be able to wire this up and come through. We are working on an additional rack shelf that's out there, which basically means we're going to take a really nice cold piece of metal and powder coat it and sell that separately along with this gateway that's out there. What's unique about it is that we took a router, we took a switch, we put these two together, and this gave us not only a wired platform, but some unique capabilities with the software that's coming up. When we talk about the unique capabilities, this literally will be the first product that gives us VLAN capability. And I know that's been a huge area of concern for everybody. We're also including the 140 watt power adapter that's there. If you do have a customer built into a job spec right now that just absolutely positively has to have lower power consumption, they need a green energy certification. You can take that down, understanding though that if you take the power supply down, we lose that 100 watts of pooled power, but we do include the power supply. This will be available at the end of 2023. And I'm sorry, end of 2023. This will be available at the end of March. That's out there. Lots of great questions. What is a recommended gateway before the new piece is available? Steve, one of the big things that I appreciate with this product that's out, the two products is that literally a mixed bag. We have folks that are coming from a Control 4 perspective or coming from an access network perspective. Look, take whatever your preferred head unit is that's out there. Arachnus has got some absolutely fantastic solutions that are there at the headspace. Come out of an Arachnus unit, come into your dedicated Arachnus switch, and then power that with some really strong access points. From a Control 4 standpoint, again, take whatever you've got on the front end, and we can work in a bridge mode with no issue and provide really, really stable access points with this product that's out there. So the question about most PoE switches are managed. I would argue that most PoE switches are not just managed. There's also the ability to turn those off fully. There's also a big amount of PoE switches that aren't, that's out there. All right. So Ron, I appreciate the input. Gateways VLAN capability will be managed switch compatible. Working on that answer, Ricardo, it looks like yes. Wow, lots of questions coming in. All right, let's go. Where does this device live in the line? Modern router, core switch, device, AP. Where does this device live in the line? Is it a modern? Russell, go a little bit deeper on that question. Awesome. Jose, thanks for the contribution there. Ron, we'll get to your concerns there. PoE switches that are supported or just about anything that's out. All right, keep going here. IRA, website, you must use the Eero PoE router. Not really saying that. I'm not sure. If you could take a screenshot, we'd love to see that. Lots of great questions coming in. All right. That's not. Where does this connect to and from? So we're going to come out of, you literally can put this in a structured can right now. But literally you're going to come out of your cable modem or you're going to come out of your ONT, plug this into the front side, run your cabling, and then come right back out of this and go to your access point. Not sure if that answers your question. Does the gateway get hot? I'm not sure which gateway we're talking about. You know, there is some warmth that's there, placement in a structured canister. So we're talking about, yeah, the Eero gateway. Limited testing, brother. I've just seen some basic setup that's there. But yeah, this literally was designed to get into a structured cabinet, get into a rack mount that's out there. Awesome. DHCP server for LAN. I'm not sure. I'll get that answer, Jeremiah. And then we'll take two more. Also still trying to get that answer for you. Corey, you hit the trifecta. If you want to have Eero in with a managed switch, no issue at all. But the key there is that you're using bridge mode. If we're routing on anything other than bridge mode and using those just as dedicated access points, you can't have it on a managed switch. But you are 100% correct, Corey. And thank you for that, because it sounds like this is yeah, this is exactly what I was hoping to get through with this audience. Use a managed switch with no issue, but we've got to be in a bridge mode. So trying, Corey, to thread that needle of talking to both the integrator and installer that's out. And why don't we go to the next slide and take a look? We're just, goodness gracious, lots of great questions coming through. Gary, this was the audience to go through. Probably best show ever that we've done in terms of participation. All right, so Poe Network Topology, third-party switch. You know, one of the things that we today are forced to do is you can use us as the gateway. You can also use a Rackness or any other product that you so choose. Come out of the modem, come out of the ONT, go directly into the Eero or whoever your preferred area. That third-party switch, we want to use an Rackness switch today that's out there. And the whole point of this slide is that we can work both in this configuration here with an Eero router. We can work in both a wired and a wireless environment. Use the switch to power your PoE devices. And then from the gateway, you can mesh out to any other Eero device inside the house. But mixed topology and an all Eero system, no issues at all. With the gateway, we literally are going to eliminate two devices, combine that in, come out of the modem, go to your gateway. And again, I'm able to set up a wireless environment for those PoE6. And then out of that wireless environment, the configuration changes and I'm able to mesh out over to an Eero Pro 6E. My preference, if you're going to use Eero in the gateway, or if you're going to use Eero in the home in a wireless area, is to use the Eero Pro 6E. And there was somebody that had called out, why not 6E on the PoE6? And you were 100% correct. It's a little bit of stew going on inside the head. But when we talk about the Pro 6E, this is right now, this is the best of the best. This is a multi-gig product. You've got the additional channels and less dispersion that's out there. And then more importantly, you've got the tri-band capability with the 6 gigahertz where it's 6 gigahertz is prioritized for the download capability in a much more stable environment with devices for that. So if you take a look at the new Fire TV Max that's been out, if you take a look at any of the Roku devices, if you take a look at the Samsung products, some of the newer TVs that are out are all operating on the 6E spectrum. 6E is great for download, really, really strong. And with the Pro 6E, even stronger. All right, so let's take a look at the software side that's out there. There's a whole bunch of different things that are going on today that's out there. hopefully everybody that's on this call, and hopefully everybody that's on this call is registered at pro.eero.com, which then on the Eero Pro 5, on the Eero Pro 6, and on the Eero Pro 6e gives you the capability of going to dashboard.eero.com. If you've transferred the network appropriately, there's lots of great software that's available to you. Network topology, I'm able to see run speed tests. I'm able to see profiles, but more importantly for this audience, this unlocks dashboard.eero.com, unlocks all the keys to the castle for port porting, IP reservations, and setting up your own schemas that's out there. You need to be registered. If you're selling eero, you are required to be an authorized user. You need to be registered at pro.eero.com. If you're not, I've got a great QR code coming up at pro.eero.com. Gives you access to a variety of different things. So what that means for you is M hits the next slide and advances the icons there is the ability to set up. No, one more. If you can go back, that would be fantastic. There you go. Set up in under 10 minutes. It's that animation I got to remove, M. Set up in under 10 minutes, you know, the easy flow. Your customers are getting automatic updates and the ease of use that's out there. And this is available today to you on all of our legacy devices, Eero Pro 5, Eero Pro 6, Pro 6e, any of our dual band products, the Eero 6, the Eero 6 Plus, and our beacon that's out there. Simple, reliable, repeatable Wi-Fi solution with free software that's out there. We're going to go one step further though with the PoE 6 and with the gateway device. And as we take a look at the next slide, we're going to talk to you about something that everybody's been asking for. So I'm just going to hit that next button and we're going to talk to you about Eero for professional installers. You're going to get all of our great analytics that we've been providing, but I'm going to give you some things that that you've been asking for. Will Batella, if you're on this call, we're going to be on the afternoon call. Literally, I can make this available for your tablet. I can make this available for your phone. No more having to go to dashboard.eero.com and open up a web browser and do all of it. Literally, we're going to give you the capability of doing all of this. You still get the same dedicated support. You still get the ability to transfer networks that are out there. Our support's going to get even stronger. And we're including this software, starting with the PoE 6 and the Eero PoE gateway. But if you'll activate a PoE 6 and you all the other networks that you've got right now that you've transferred correctly, will get the advantage of this software coming through. So what do I mean when we talk about the software? We're going to take a look at the next slide and talk about, thanks, Em. We're going to continue with that value proposition of ease of setup and, you know, that same network transfer off of the phone. But I'm going to provide some tools that are going to offer proactive troubleshooting, where we can monitor and analyze what's going on, but more importantly, the ability to maintain. So as we go to the next slide, the value proposition stays the same. And one more. We want to give you flexibility. We want to provide additional support. And we want to do all of the things that we are doing right now on dashboard.eero.com. The setup under 10 minutes, the automatic updates, and the ease of use. We're going to go one better, though, on the next slide. So that when you set up an Eero gateway or when you set up the PoE 6 device, you're going to activate a 5-year license. And why are we activating a 5-year license instead of giving this for free? There's a cost that's associated with the license that's out there. We wanted to make sure as well that you had the ability to manage this for your customer, that there was a dedicated timeline that comes through. And quite honestly, in 5 years, we're probably going to switch the hardware out. If you think about where we were 5 years ago, we weren't even in second generation product. At that point, we were at, you know, Eero Gen 1. And today we're talking about 1.5 gig wireless speeds. I guarantee you that your customers are going to change. And more importantly, if your customer doesn't upgrade the hardware, if they're not interested in the higher speeds or newer hardware, I would question whether or not you need to manage and maintain their network. So before the boo birds come out, just work with me. We're going to show you some slides here of what this all can do with that 5-year license. We are also giving you the Eero for Pro installer benefits for 3 years on any older network that you've got and automatically deploying, just so you get the benefit of using the software and understanding what the full capability is. So let's take a look at the next slide. And what we're going to do here is we're going to make sure that we're transferring the network to the customer We're going to do that via email. We're going to do that via text. And I literally am flying to San Francisco to talk about some additional options on how we get that going. I will tell you though, you have to transfer the network to the customer. There's a variety of different options at the counter that they can talk to you about this. Without transferring to the end customer, you are violating terms of service, you're violating their privacy, and more importantly, you're opening yourself up to potential lawsuits. You know their IP address, you know their password, you know and have control of their devices that are there. It's good practice, it's good policy. We transfer with lots of different products that are out there. We're doing this with Ubiquity. We're doing this with Oversee and Acknowledging as well. This is an easy thing to be able to do. And the benefits, when we go to the next slide, start right here. Or on the next slide. I'm going to give you the ability to manage your network from anywhere. And one of the things that Em and I have done as we're talking with our engineers is talking to them about the life of a custom installer and a custom integrator. And they were shocked to hear that at least 2 meals a day are eaten behind a windshield or behind a steering wheel or standing up that's out there. They had no idea that, the dashboard would have your dashboard on your trucks or your vans had stacks of receipts that were out there. And so the need for mobile capability is huge. When you log into the eero app, I'm going to greet you, and this is how you know that you've got signed up correctly on pro.eero. You'll see something like this with a dashboard. Right there in the upper left-hand side is the amount of devices that are offline. We're working on notifications that pop up on screen. Right now, it's just a notification through the app. We are working on immediate notifications. I check my app now about 4 to 5 times a day. This will let me know in any networks that are offline. It'll also let me know any potential networks that are getting ready to go offline. I can see the total amount of networks that are there, and then I can start to drill down. I can see all of the customers that I've got, and I can sort that by SSID. I can sort that by name, and more importantly, I can sort that by issue. I can see trending issues that are popping up, DNS setting areas, and then ultimately, with 1 to 3 clicks, I can get directly into a customer's specific profile, see what's going on with their network, and begin to resolve that. So let's take a look at the next screen. There we go. So those insight analytics that we talked about right now, those insight analytics are going to be absolutely huge. This is going to give me not only the ability to run speed tests, but I'm going to give you some additional things. The capability of being the CTO of the house. I can see data usage now. I can talk.
You still there, Emily?
More
Pete, I'm not hearing you very well. So hang on 1 second. Emily, can you check in?
Difference that's out there. I can quickly.
Emily, can you check in?
Gare?
Yeah, I lost
Sorry
you.
about that. Yeah, no.
And Emily, is Emily there too?
I think she's here. She's just having issues with her audio. She's going to show me that she's here by moving her screen over. And I switched over to my hotspot.
So, all right, guys. I don't know if everybody just lost at the same time, but let's.
Yeah, let's pause here for a quick sec.
Yeah, that would be great. I just want to catch everybody up. If you guys were talking and they were still hearing, that'd be fantastic. It seemed like Emily and Pete we lost you at the same time, and I wasn't sure if it was mine.
What's ironic is that I'm off. We're on separate networks.
Yeah. Okay. Listen. Let's continue. Guys,
Yeah,
hit us if there was something that you completely missed. But what I think we should do, we have a lot of questions. I don't have a hard stop. Emily and Pete, what we should do, get through the presentation. We have 15 minutes left, and let's try to get through the questions, sidebarring, and we'll get through it with everybody. I think that's most important. Great participation, as you said, great presentation. Let's keep rolling forward, guys.
Excellent. All right, so we're talking about eero Insight Analytics. I'm not sure what happened with the network that's there, but one of the big things here is that we're going to make you the CTO of the customer's house. Literally, the ability to see not only the downloads but the uploads, not just speed tests, but true upload, download, and then data usage throughout the house. And again, this is with eero in the gateway, so that we're able to see the full analytics that's there. If you're running us in bridge mode, it's probably because you've got another system running and offering these types of analytics. So as we take a look at the next slide and kind of get through some of this other technology, let's talk about some of the more premium features that are out there. And this is, I'm real excited as we take a look at the next slide, and I'm going to eliminate that premium feature slide. Go ahead, Em. This was the single biggest request that we got from our audience that was out there, the ability to deploy the latest firmware updates. So eero gives you the benefit of having us automatically roll updates. We're checking to make sure that the network is not being used. We typically run these at a variety of different times late in the evening that's out there. But look, you at the end of the day are responsible for all of your customers' houses. Literally with a single click here, I can update the entire fleet with the latest firmware updates. You choose when you want to roll your updates again and again and again. All right, so lots of Q&A that's coming through, but we'll keep rolling here for another slide, and then we'll take a quick break to talk about some of the questions coming in. All right, Em, when you're ready. This right here is exactly where the reoccurring revenue, where a performance package or just any type of an aftercare package comes into play. There's a variety of different things that you're going to be able to do here and beyond just the speed test. When we talk about outage detection, when we talk about usage, and when we talk about just the overall use cases that are coming through, this shows you not only what's going on in terms of download and upload, it shows you, just a breakdown daily of what's going on so that we can measure this out and make sure that your customers have the right plans, have the right programs, everything else. It gets even better on the next slide when we take a look at outage detection. Yeah. This single-handedly is the best tool that I can provide for you. Anytime we do a whole home solution for Wi-Fi, anytime we do a network installation, it no longer is Spectrum's issue. It's no longer AT&T's issue. It literally becomes, the installer that's out there. And the single worst thing that can happen is a customer going offline. This gives you visibility into the outage, and more importantly, it gives you visibility into the outage reasons that are going on. You can call a customer when a network goes offline, and we'll be able to tell them, look, this is an ISP issue. I've noticed that your network's been offline for 3 hours. I'm calling to let you know that I'm aware that it's offline. Or more importantly, because there's an issue with firmware or because there's an issue with something on the eero side that's out there, you can call the customer and say, look, I'm aware that that your network is offline. It's an eero issue. I'm sending one of my techs right now to go through. A lot of times this is as simple as just a quick reboot that would go on, but we're going to give you as much answers as we can. And this right here is exactly why you transfer the network. The rest of it's great. I want to give you the ability to maintain and manage networks. But at the end of the day, the single worst sin that we can commit is a customer's network being offline. So why don't we take just a quick pause here, go through some of the Q&As that are going through. Mobile device to use the web browser to access the eero app. So Craig, you're going to register at pro.eero.com. You're going to register at pro.eero.com, and then you're going to make sure that that app is an agreement. The eero app, we have one app. is an agreement with your registration. So once your registration is confirmed and approved, you're going to use the same login information that you provided in your application on the app. It'll take 24 hours to sync up offline and cloud and everything else that's out there. All right. Terrence, a 10-minute setup is as easy and as we want to make it be, or as complex as we want to make it be. 10-minute setup gets you the network that you deserve, not the network that you want. A 10-minute setup literally is placing units, but it's not taking into account IP reservations, port forwarding, your own IP schema. And that's where, Terrence, that's where a network solution provider, that's where a whole home architect comes into play that's out there. Your ability to set up profiles, your ability with this product to set up and look at network topology. You're 100% correct. The 10-minute setup isn't something that we want to directly advertise. This is something that we talk to you about for a very basic install. At the other end of that spectrum, Terrence, when we talk about tools like this, making sure that everything is taken accounted for and looked at, this is huge. And it can take an hour and a half, it can take 3 hours and continue to go through. So lots of good things going on there. All right. Em's going to take us to the next one. And when we talk about topology, this is literally one of the key areas that's out there. Understanding not just the amount of data that's being used, but what the high, medium, and low bandwidth is there. So we can identify an over or underutilized network. I can tell you exactly the days that the network's being used the most. I can tell you the medium point, and I can tell you the low end. And we can do that in a variety of different filters that's there. But we want to give you the capability of talking with your customers and managing their plans appropriately, or just having that as a discussion point. Where this then ultimately goes to is, as we go to the next slide, where this ultimately ends up going to is some great troubleshooting capability. We understand if the network is offline. We understand how the customer is using the network and how many different times. But the single biggest thing that we can offer here is network analytics. Why is the system rebooting? And if it reboots more than twice, this is going to start to pop up on your screen as a pending area or some troubleshooting that may be needed. A lot of times this could be because we're in bridge mode and something is going on, with whatever's in the gateway, or it could be, that the switch is going through. Literally could be that, somebody's unplugging a unit or the gateway and moving through. But I would want to know, as somebody that's installing networks day in and day out, I would want to know exactly why and what was going on. So we're going to give that capability to you 100% for free. All right, so let's go to the next area. Travel back in time. The network topology. Now I see you. Network topology is going to be a huge area. We give this to you right now on pro.eero.com, and that's been available for the last 2 years. The single biggest difference right now for eero Pro installer is going to give you that capability right now. It's going to give you that capability right now to identify what's working with RSI values. I can see the gateway to the node. I can also see the wired connections, wireless connections, give you true RSI value. But more importantly, if something's gone on, I can give you the filter to go back and look at the last time the network actually was online, working appropriately. And then I can go back and reset exactly to those standards. So we're going to give you today, before we were giving you the ability to make adjustments and see what was going on. Today with eero for Pro installer, we're going to give you the capability at looking at what worked before and versus what it currently looks like today. So let's go ahead and go to the next slide. And then the biggest area here that we're going to go to, and then we'll get into some live Q&A that's out there, is the ability to audit actions that were taken in the network. So anytime a user makes a change, anytime you send a tech over to make a change, we're going to record what's going on. Have they added a device? Have they moved a device? Have they taken a device offline? Have they changed the SSID? But those audit logs are huge. When you come back to troubleshoot what's gone on, I can quickly see everything that's happened within the network. Let's take a look at some of the questions. Compatibility with integrated devices, Sonos, that are there. Savag, I'm taking a look at some of this. We're noting We have a really strong partnership with Sonos. We're seeing some of these issues starting to pop up that's out there. We're working through that that's out there. So we're seeing some additional firmware updates coming through. 5-year licenses for the eero PoE6 and the PoE gateway. That's correct. And 3 years for all other products. 100%, Jose. That's exactly where we're at. Open questions right now. Hundreds of accounts. I don't see the ability in the app. Wow, Craig, you have hundreds of accounts already. You don't see the ability in the app. You need to transfer. We had talked about this at the very beginning of it. You need to transfer a PoE6 device. Eero PoE gateway to take advantage of the 5-year Eero for Pro installer license on that. And then once you do that, we'll cascade that down to every other device and network that's out there. All right, so just in the interest of time, let me get to the getting, and we'll spend a ton of time here going through questions across. So next steps, no sales of the product to those that aren't registered on pro.eero.com. If you're buying through Snap One locals, if you're buying through Snap AV online, we need you to be registered at pro.eero.com and become an authorized user. That's a QR code that if you take your phone up right now, it'll take you right to the application. You can do this on your phone. Eero PoE6 is available in Snap One branches and online now, and the Eero Gateway is going to be available at the end of Q1. Really need you to register at pro.eero.com across the board. And Em's going to take us to the next slide.
Hey, Pete,
Some
real
great
quick.
things that, yeah.
What is required for, do they need their SNAP number on that when they're filling that out? Anything specific we need to know?
A phone number and an address.
Not their SNAP number or anything that relates to their account with us.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'm hearing right now that the QR code's not working. So again, pro.eero.com, pro.eero.com. Don't hold your phone up. Type in this address, pro.eero.com. You can go through. And then if you need additional help, I've got a great phone number for you, 1-866. If you do have your phone up, switch it over to camera mode, take a picture of 1-866-754-7286, or you can email us at pro@eero.com. Tier 2 tech support's available to all registered dealers with live help based out of Austin, Texas. And that is lifetime support for the product for you and for the customer that you're installing it for. But pro.eero.com, you don't need anything other than your name, phone number, email address. If you're in a state that requires a reseller's number, that's where, the additional info would come in from. All right. Em's going to tag out here for a second. I'm going to get going to a lot of the different questions that are out there. Let's start working through licenses for analytics, right? System doesn't quit now, Tom, and I need to be very clear. This is, and let me get up on camera here for you. Hopefully you can see my face. Let's see. Analytics, it's 100% for the analytics. If you don't need to see your client's networks after you've done an install at all, we're good to go. Do you get dealer support when you call in? Matt, that literally is what I'm saying. Lifetime support. If you're a pro dealer calling, that automatically gets you upgraded to level 2 tech support, and you are good to go. Back to Tom's question, the single biggest thing that's out there right now is, the analytics stop after 3 or 5 years if you don't re-up. There is the ability per device, per network. I think it's $10 per access point. So at my house, I've got a gateway and 3 access points. That would be $40 per year to maintain that. I'm just going to upgrade my hardware at that time. Just lost access to the pro.eero site. Jose, we are working through that. I'm not sure if you were the gentleman that did it. I'm going to publish a list of previous trainings that are out there, but the pro training site hadn't been updated for about 18 months. We're working on a full refresh for that. But they're the tools that you're looking for. If you'll contact Gary, we can make sure that all of the previous Eero trainings that we've done in the past was there. I can also get you any of the older spec sheets as well. Let's see, what else do we have? Lots of great questions. All right, so pro.eero.com worked on Android phone, but not on the iPad. Not sure. So Phil, we probably want to go to www.pro.eero.com. I'm not sure why a URL would work on your Android, but not on other. All right, multi-SSID. Let's see. We answered that live. Pro dealer support, we answered live. Lots of great questions though. Justin, solid. All right, so that's done. License, we had talked about how about adding more than one user on the pro account. I'm glad Oscar, God, Gary, what a great audience. What a substantial audience. So that's the single biggest reason for you to register. You're going to set yourself up as the admin. You're going to set the admin account, and then you're going to add your techs underneath you that's out there. If your tech leaves, you keep all of your customers. He doesn't take them with you at all. Tom, you're going to have to call our customer service number. They will take really good care of you for everything that you're asking me about. They should be able to go through. All right, so wow, Gary, I'm blown away. Missed the thing about the multiple SSID. Mark, it's one of the single biggest things that I'm trying to do is add a third. With mesh, more SSIDs isn't the answer. I know that you guys need something or are asking for it, but we're working on it across the board. The anonymous attendee, wow, the ever anonymous. I'm not going to give you the ability to separate 2.4 and 5. It's one of the things that we do in mesh that works extremely well. If you need the ability, though, you can go to dashboard.eero.com. If you're setting up a Ring camera or an older legacy IoT device, I can pause the 5 gigahertz for up to 15 minutes. Appreciate that, Mr. Anonymous. And let's clear that. That's done. Tom, you're going to call our customer support. Max number of access point on a single system. These are the questions that we love being asked. Right now, I wouldn't do more than 10 access points. At 10 access points, that's going to give you access to 20,000 square feet. And I would make sure that this was all on a wired backhaul, every one of these that's out there. It just, so 20,000, that gets you into light commercial SMB type of areas that's out there. 10 access points is about the max that I would get out there too. Solid, really solid question. One of the ones that I was hoping somebody would ask. All right. Craig, you're definitely going to want to make sure that you're calling our customer service. Kevin, access point that's out there. So this is another solid question. Kevin, this is available right now in Snap One. It's available at snapav.com. You see the product on Amazon. We are an Amazon-owned company. It'll stay at full MSRP. It's not designed to be discounted. The software is not available except to a pro installer, registered pro installer. So customers can't get access. Customers can't get access to that. It's huge. You guys have the exclusivity for at least the next 90 days. You guys have the exclusivity with the software. You have lifetime support for you and for your customer. And then you've got a solid solution in terms of what can you hook up and what can you do. We answered that question on the attendee, the pricing for the license. I believe it's $10 per access point per year that's out there. We've gone that. List of compatible Zigbee devices. Jose, it's easier question of just it works with Amazon Echo shows devices. The Zigbee I think that you're looking for is more in the Amazon environment that's out there. The PO gateway handle roaming between access points. Yeah. The gateway is going to handle that, and then the actual units themselves are going to do that. Older clients not tech savvy that's out there for the transfer. This is where I create an email address fill up for every customer in every home that I go into. I create an email address. You do need to make sure that you transfer it. The other option would be to take control of their phone and physically accept for them. Jason, you're asking, goodness gracious, Gary, lots of great questions. Thank you so much, brother. Thanks for the ability to talk to these guys. It's great to hear from everybody. Will the PoE6 work with an eero 6 as a gateway? Yeah, interchangeable across the board. Everything here is forwards and backwards compatible that's out there. My strong preference right now is the eero Pro 6E. It's in stock. It's on sale. Actually, we've got a fantastic sale that's going on right now for everything. If you guys are looking, it'll even backdate to the eero Pro 5. I just like the Pro 6E, and if you can't go with the Pro 6E, I like the 6 Plus that's out there, just because we're getting into 6 that's out there. Pro count, do we use the email? Wow, Kevin with the solid question. Backlink capability on gateway. I Wow. Backlink capability on the gateway will all APs be able to run 2.5 gig. I think that you said 25. I think you meant 2.5. Full duplex as well as the 10 gigabit ports being able to run. That is my understanding at full duplex. That is my understanding. I understand though that we haven't been able to do a ton of testing because right now these are just sample devices and hard to get 10 gig testing to be able. But yeah, that's my insight. Matt, you can always up the analytic, or you can always upgrade, but after 5 years, if you don't upgrade, yeah, you lose the ability to see the analytics. After 5 years, though, if the customer is not going to upgrade or maintain a service package with you, you can always upgrade the hardware and get into a new software capability, or you can ask the customer, hey, this allows me to manage. The whole point of this is to allow you guys to get into some type of a monitoring contract with your customers. Gary, you tell me, how much longer do you want to go? Because we've got lots of great questions.
Man, we're going to be back on in 2 hours. So audience that still remains, which is 152 people, which is a lot. We can, if you want to just scan really quick, I know we're asking a lot to surefire these things at you, but people might just be hanging in just to get their question answered. I love the participation, but remember audience, I will be back on in 2 hours. So if you want to continue this discussion, re-register and get back here. Me and Pete will be back, and Emily. Scan it really quick. Let's take another few minutes. It's 7:08. You're in a hotel room. I'm here in Los Angeles. We are here for our customers. I mean, obviously, we awoke the giant here. We knew it was going to be popular. As you mentioned, the sale product. And please, I'd be remiss without saying all of my sales team are ready for you guys as well. And I want this discussion at the counters. We're going to run Pete drive his resources, but we've done a lot for this campaign to get ready for 6 on the shelves. We've got big displays of it in all of our Snap One Pro stores. Guys, we're here for you. So let's continue this discussion. Let's take another couple minutes, Pete, and we'll wrap it up. I am recording this. So try, when you hit a question, kind of rephrase that question so that we can play it back.
Does the PoE6 need a gateway? No. I'm sorry. Yes, you can run it as as established gateway in ceiling. Technically, no, it doesn't need a gateway. I would really prefer though that you put a head unit right at the front that's out there. So we can operate in bridge mode with a standard third-party router. Arachnus has got a great system that's out there. If you want all the analytics, you've got to run a gateway. Can you see the analytics app? Actually, you guys can take that answer all day long. Buy a PoE6 device in store and install that, and you're able to go through. But live, it's going to be difficult to show you that that's out there. All right, gateway provide additional ability to further function. I'm not sure what you're asking, so let's keep going. Does it work with oversee? Probably one of the better questions on a Snap call. 100%. If you run us in bridge mode, that's there, I can provide really solid Wi-Fi access points that are out there. For the analytics side, you've got to have eero in a gateway or somewhere in the DMZ between the modem and the switch. However, you can use an Arachnus switch. You can use a variety of different switches that are out there. Great questions. Gary, I've never seen this amount of questions. That's solid. All right, so we've done that. Let's do 2 more, and then does it work with oversee? That's what we use to get notifications. 100% works with oversee. Can you give us the ability to see the Wi-Fi network password from the eero Pro dashboard? Matt, we would love to do that. It violates customer privacy. You can reset it. That's out there. Is this mobile dashboard available now? From Doug. 100% it is available now. All you need to do is buy an eero PoE6 device, install it, and that's going to go through and take care of you again and again and again. We're going to take one last question that's out there, and that's from Chris Nicholson. What do you lose when you use them in a bridge mode? Chris, all the really cool things that are out there. So what you gain by running eero in the gateway or in the DMZ between the modem and the switch is that you're gaining all of the ability to set up user profiles. You're getting all the ability to see network topology. You're getting all of the ability when it's an eero PoE6 that's activated or a gateway or anything else, or after those things have been activated. We're going to give you all the ability for the analytics that we just talked about, the ability to see how many reboots, how many offline, any of the troubleshooting that's going on, and more importantly, the ability to be the CTO. That being said, it's still a solid access point with great product, with great hardware features. If you'd like to use Oversee and support that with a strong Wi-Fi 6 device, you can run us in bridge mode. You would lose all of that, but you would gain really solid network performance. Gary, brother,
Yeah. So,
20 years. And,
I know. So guys, thank you so much. Still got 135 people on here. We went through a number of questions. I hope that we're closer to where you are, why you bought this product right now. We had a huge release, a huge campaign right now, sale pricing going on at the Snap One Pro stores. So I hate to cut anything off. We're going to be back here in 2 hours. So let's continue the conversation. That is 9 a.m. West Coast, noon on the East Coast. Pete, you can grab some lunch and we're going to do this all over again. Maybe you and I should prepare to continue this conversation on the second session a little longer. Let's see how it rolls. I'm going to record these questions though. I have them on the back end so we can take a look at this. Remember guys, I'm here every single week for you. You can continue to hit me, gary.usher@snapone.com, and I will, Pete's one of my best friends, so we'll get your questions answered. We just love the fact that this is live in your hands and you are asking these types of questions. I think what Pete is referring to is the depth of knowledge and seeing where you could take this product, because that kind of intel Pete's going to take back and really kind of see where our integration community is pushing this product, which is always the best indication of how of in the field working, right? Yeah. All right, guys. Yep.
Solid. Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
I learned a lot. Learned a tremendous amount.
All right, everybody. Back in 2 hours. Thank you so much for having this hour discussion with us today. Hit me back on any questions. You're going to get an email from me on Friday with this slide deck and a recording of all of what we just covered. So let's continue this conversation. Have a great rest of your day. We'll be back in 2 hours. From all of us at Snap One Pro stores. Catch you in a couple. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Pete.